Hey everybody, my name is Charles Morgan. I'm the editor of CoinWeek. It's been a while since we've done a streaming segment for you. It's been very busy, but I have been involved with a number of projects behind the scenes here on our video front, and we're wrapping up a very cool new original video to discuss how to collect large cents by type. This is a video we're putting together with EAC, Early American Coppers, which is a phenomenal coin club. If you collect early copper coins at all, you definitely need to be a member, get penny-wise, and also a lot of camaraderie and a lot of help. EAC has been very helpful in us putting this video together, which actually turned out to be a lot more complicated than we anticipated when we started, because the 1830s are a giant mess when it comes to large cents, as the coin denominations transition from the matron cent or coronet head cent to the braided hair. The final design for it, the large cent was discontinued in favor of the small cent. We have a copper video for you tonight, actually. A few weeks ago, the American Numismatic Society had offered a giant bag, over 700 coins of small cents. And I reached out to my colleagues and I said, I want to buy this bag. Now, typically, I don't buy unsearched bags of coins. It's usually a bad idea because if you're getting an unsearched bag of wheat cents, for instance, they're going to be searched, because how would they know they're wheat cents? Also, like, a professional dealer isn't just going to let the opportunity to have valuable coins sell in bulk without pulling them out. So I bid on it, despite everyone telling me not to bid on it. And the reason I did is because the American Numismatic Society actually pulled all these coins from their vault. These were coins that were not in their permanent collection, and they had put them into a bag, pulling them out of 2x2s and things like that. And I couldn't imagine that sophisticated collectors would have donated coins to the ANS library if they were just like 1958Bs or something like that. So I believe that there would have been earlier dates, and maybe not a 1914D or something like that, but there would have been some nice dates, a nice mix. It would have been an exciting bag, and it would have been one of those unicorn bags that we could show on the video. Well, unfortunately, I was the only person who thought about that. And by the end of the auction, I think the price of the coins soared to almost $300, and just barely beating my nuclear bid of like 280 bucks. So I was out of luck, and that video idea was squashed, at least for the time being. Well, I reached out to my friend, ANA Governor Rob Oberth, to ask him if he had junk boxes of nickels and cents, and maybe I could put a video together with him. And he said I do. And I said, well, I don't want you to set this up and grab some giant, full album full of messed up coins and send them to me, and so I can say, oh, look at this mixed bag of stuff. But I do want to make it worth our while. So what if I buy you from you $250 in a bag of mixed date nickels and cents? And we'll do the video on YouTube. And if anybody wants to buy mixed lots from Rob, obviously you're going to get what you pay for. You can do so, and he's kindly given me the opportunity to show these coins off. So Rob's business, by the way, is Marietta, Georgia's Golden Coin Exchange, and I'm sure you can find them on Facebook. He's a dealer behind Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers. He's also, like I said, ANA Governor. There's many ways to reach out to Rob if you haven't already. So anyway, Rob sends me two bags. The first one I'll show you tonight. I'll do the nickels in another time. So here you go, and the mint sack of the period, which was a Ziploc bag. I have here what looks like about 3 rolls. So this is what $250 bought me, and I have no idea what's in here, except I can tell you that there definitely are some Indian cents, and I see 3 probably AU slidery kind of 1943 zinc cents, which stand out because they're silvery. I've set up my camera rig here, and I'm going to try to kind of pull these out one by one and go over it. And if I see anything really neat that stands out, I'll let you know. Of course, if you see anything that's neat and stands out, you let me know too in the comments field. And for you real penny lovers, I'd like you guys to tell me if there's anything valuable enough. Did I get my $250 worth? I better. But so let's switch over to my B camera here, and we'll see what we got going on. So I think I have to kind of get this thing going here. Give me a second. one of the beauties of live video is you don't know what you're gonna get here. So okay, all right, let's get some focus. Yeah, I haven't done this in a few minutes, so I don't really know what's going on with this blurry screen here. Let me see if I put a few cents here and get it to focus. I'm sorry about this. This is what you get with live video. There you go. All right, that should be clear. So I'm going to dump these out. Whoa, look at this. A whole screen full of stuff. And I think my camera at the bottom is telling me I don't have a card in there. And not that it matters, but I'll put a card in there because I'm OCD about this kind of stuff. There you go. Let's see if that makes a difference. Oh, at least you got that. All right, so here we are. We got this beautiful collection here of cents. We're going to go through them a little bit at a time and move some of this out of the way. We'll see what we ended up with. All right, so here we go. Number one. This appears to be a 1957D. No great shakes there. About extra fine condition. There's our first 43. All right, so we got a. So this is a 43 playing. All right, and here we go. We have, let's see, this looks like a 1958D. Okay, so far, what I would expect. Oh, this is an earlier date, a little bit worn here. And I'm going to have to grab my loupe, I think, to see these things. They are tiny, look at sense, and my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. So, what do we got here? All right, so this one is a 19. Oh wow, that's actually a pretty decent date there. That's a 1921S. So 1921S. They made about 6 million coins that year. So this might be a couple dollars maybe. $5, $6 maybe. All right, what do we got here? So another earlier date. This one looks like 14. This looks like maybe a 14 plane. It's very porous though. It's probably about good. All right. All right. Next one up. All right. Let's see. Here we got a 44. So that's your first post-war penny, and that one is made out of those brass shell casings. All right. This one looks like a processed, definitely a processed 43. So these 43 cents, once they become worn or expose the elements, they start to degrade and they become this chalky black color. Because sometimes coin dealers or marketers would process them and sort of recoat them, and they would look terrible. And this is what a terrible looking processed 43. So if that was the only 43 in the bag, I'd be pretty disappointed. All right, here's kind of a ghastly looking coin here. What is this one? 53D, and it's corroded and gross. I definitely wouldn't put that on my little beginner album. Okay, the next one. All right, here's a decent one. It's like about an AU. 58D is typical condition. Right? Very neat. All right, still on the making sense. All right, so what we got here? All right, there you go. This is a 1918 play. Okay. I haven't seen any. Oh, here's one. This is my first Indian cent. You know, when I was a kid, I loved going to coin store, and you know, I didn't have a lot of money as a kid. But my parents would sometimes indulge me, let me have a few dollars. I always felt like I had a good time if I got an Indian 10 cent. I mean, this one's pretty corroded and beat up. Wouldn't be the kind of coin. Oh God, speaking of corroded and beat up, what is this monstrosity? Oh, can you imagine getting a whole bag of this? Yeah, I have no freaking clue. This is like a beat to smithereens Lincoln cent. I can't even tell the date. This is basically what every Zinkin cent's going to look like in about 10 years after they're struck. They're left outside. All right, so let's move on. Here's another one. This is, I believe this is an 1896. Yeah, so there you go. There's an honest to goodness nice 1896 cent. Perfect kind of coin for a kid, or if you want to put a little dance kill album. I mean, a lot of detail on this guy. I would say this is a very smart, very fine. This would be a good condition to have an entire dance kill album. If you had every coin, including the 1877, in that condition, you'd have a nice little album. All right, what we got here? All right, this one we are looking at it's a 1950D. 1950D right there. In typical uncirculated condition. You know, these 1950s and 40s coins. I mean, these are the kind of grades actually you would find in circulation maybe 10 or 15 years ago, quite commonly. After the memorial cent debuted in January 1959, there was a massive effort underway for people to start hoarding wheat cents, and of course, modern coinage numbers are way higher. Where's 1920? Very neat. What's this? All right, here's a 44, another 44. So I'm not seeing my $250 yet. A couple coins are, $4 or $5. I think that 21S was certainly a keeper. So if I had to estimate the value of the coins I have here so far, maybe we're looking at, what do you think, $10, $15? We got a lot of coins to go. All right, here's a Indian head cent. Another 20th century Indian head. This one's a 1906. A little bit worse for the wear. Let's see if I can find a nice one here. Okay, there's another Indian cent. This one's got some, I don't know what I'll call this one. Let's see. It is definitely corroded a little bit. It's 1905. It's got better details. Here's one. It's another 20th century one. 1906, I think. All right. Cents are a lot harder to do this type of video than I thought, as small as these dates are. And I'm trying to show them all the time. Here's a 1944. So it's sort of a better than typical grade for circulation fund. Oh yeah, this is a case in point. I would say this is mid-tier of a circulated 1943 cent. As you can see, it doesn't have that. It starts to turn a little bit darker, but it still has that kind of chalky appearance. And so and this one seems like have a little bit of rim hit. But this is what I would expect when maybe you've been in circulation for a year or so. It might look like before they really get ugly. And what we got here? Here's one that's probably borderline mint state. I don't think this is going to be processed, but you see it's starting to get some spotting on it. Not an ideal coin metal. And then, well, here's one that looks like it's been heavily polished and processed. Very hideous looking coin. As you see on the back, it's all screwed up. I honestly, I could have done without these 43s. I like them for a novelty item, but I don't know if I really like getting a bunch of them. They really become worthless if they're not in mint state. So here's an 1899 Indian head cent. I would say that's probably about a good, very good. Let's see here. Oh, there's a 58D. Right. Right. The next one is 57D. Just a little bit of corrosion under the date. I'm hoping you guys are kind of enjoying this. I can't totally tell how much visually appealing this is. If these are bigger coins, I wouldn't have to pull them up close and see the dates, and that's because I am sitting about 4 feet away from this, so it makes it a little harder. So there's a 49D Let me get that right back up here. Goodness gracious. There's a delay on the video too, so there's that. All right, so there's 49D. All right, next one is 1903. That's about, that's probably about good, very good. All right. Haven't made it through our first roll yet, but we're getting there. Here's a beat the smithereens 44. This looks like the coin that you would pick up in a parking lot of a grocery store. It's been run over by an SUV. All right. And here's another 1906. Kind of a white or brown color. It's got a lot of marks on it. And another 1944. Interestingly, when they struck the zinc and iron, the steel plated zinc cents, they were trying to make them look different so that they would be easy to pull out. And let me see here. I'm gonna get this thing right. And all right, sorry for that. So there you go. And this is sort of where you would be after, I would say, probably about 2-3 years of circulation of one. And so as you see, this one's already in the way of turning black. In fact, actually, be honest, since this is honest wear, I kind of prefer this look. All right, so here's the next one here. This looks like this is a 45, if I'm mistaken. All right, what do we got here? Oh, actually, it's not a bad date. 1917 S. Here. And this is fairly good condition. So if the wheat stalks are, you can make many of them out. And may have been cleaned at some point. I don't know. Certainly colored back to normal. It's always nice to get those estimates, right? Those early pre-30 estimates are always cool. Here's a 1906 Indian. Another one, 1901. So how much is your Indian cent worth if you have it? You have one passed down to you. You know that you're not a numismatist per se, but you've had some of these coins. Indian cents will vary in price. Of course, the late 1890s to 1908, 1909. You're looking at maybe $3, $2-3. If you get earlier than that, it depends on the date. The denomination debuts in 1859. The design's a little different than the later issues in the 1860s during the Civil War. Of course, those are made out of a different metal than the later issues. This period, these coins are going to be considerably more valuable, and you're not likely to find them outside numismatic or coin collecting circles. They would have been pulled out of change a long time ago. Even if your grandparents, got them from circulation, they would have been long gone. And the 1877 would have been rare. Many of the dates also from this earlier period would have been melted down. The mint redeemed a lot of these coins and melted them down. So this one actually I left on the screen and mentioned. This is an 1892, I believe. And this is, I would say this is probably good. Liberty and headdress and all that. Completely worn off, but honest wear. It'd be a cool coin for a kid just getting started. You could give them the opportunity to get a run of dates, like more common dates, but they would definitely have something that looked old, and it's definitely cool. This is 1858, so this is the last year of issue. Not the cleanest looking coin, but probably extra fine details. Okay. Another 44. You'll find in circulation still Many wheat cents, not as many as there used to be, obviously, but 44 is going to be very common dates. Anything in the 50s is going to be common. The Denver coins are very common. Denver at this period of time was probably making more coins than Philadelphia for most denominations most years. Okay. What do we got here? So 1907, Indian head cent. So what do we think? What's the tally, guys? What do you think we're up to? Were we over $50 yet? All right. I would say we're about a third of the way through this accumulation. Okay, here's the next one. This looks like another 40s issue. 44. Again. I can always tell the 50s coins too. The 50s coins I think have a different look to them. Probably because most of the circulated ones that survive. Another 44. Most of the circulated ones that survive are probably in better shape and were probably pulled out due to the design change. Here's a sort of, I think that's a 44D, is that? Yep. All right, now we go back to the Indian head cents. All right, it's an 1897. Okay. Another 44. This is exactly what I expect. I think they probably seeded these zinc cents for me, but if you're going to get an unsearched bag, you're going to get a ton of 44s. They get a ton of 44s because they're probably getting a lot of these from the public. I imagine that they're probably, you know, your typical coin dealer, if they even deal with this kind of material, not a 44, probably pays 2 or 3 cents a coin for these Wheaties, and they're buying them by the bulk. Oh, well, guess what I got here, folks? You'll recognize that that's not a wheat cent. This is an old copper Canadian penny from 1962 with the first effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. Future generations, hundreds of years from now, will probably think that she was the most powerful figure on Earth because her coins spanned almost the entire globe, and there were billions of them. Maybe, who knows, maybe 1 trillion coins. Queen Elizabeth II's effigy on them. There we go. What do we got here? And I don't know what they're going to think, though, about our culture with all the commemorative motifs with her picture on it. It's another nice, probably very good Lincoln Indian head cent. And we're looking at here the date. I think this is in 1890. 1889. There you go. If I was a kid, I would have seen an 1889 in a tray for $3. You know I'm buying it. All right. There's a little crusty old cent for it from the 40s. What do we got here? The 52D. 1897. Not bad. Not bad. There's 52D. Right in there. All right, what we got here? There's 41 plain. 41 plain right there. Another 44. Another 44. Yeah, 55D. And another 44. So if you have big jugs of cents you have lying around the house, this might be like fun to break them out. See how many of these wheat cents you might have. And like I said, if you have even one Indian head cent, I mean, you probably would have had to start collecting those coins in the early 80s, maybe late 70s, early 80s. You might You might have lucked out and gotten one. Probably would be about an AG by the time you got to it. It's a 1906 right there. $1944. What we got here? Another 44. Certainly getting my 44's money's worth. If each 44 is worth 3 cents, I would have to probably have gotten a lot more coins. This is a 47S. This whole thing would have made it all the way to Georgia. Let's see. There's sort of a little bit of a corroded 1905. Any cent. And here's another one. It's a little chalky. Looks like it had been cleaned at some point. There's a 1908. It's a 46. This one's a little bit beat up too. Paper on it. Let's see. There's a 41. There you go. This is this one. 1895. Yeah, I gotta do something about this this camera. It's kind of on a timer. I think there's like a setting I'm not familiar with here. Yeah, because last time I ran this. There you go. Last time I ran this camera, I didn't have all the screen up. It's been a while. All right, so 1945 here. Say we're about halfway. Oops, 1948. Another 1945. A cool subset of coins to put together. If you are interested, again, if you want to teach a youngster about coins, I always find like a world event. And in those world events, you can not only teach history, but you can give them a tangible example of the money of the period. But the World War II period is really a good period to teach. Actually, I think this is our first time running, guys. Right here, 1910S. 1910S. So this is a scarcer issue. Probably about 6 million coins. Got some hair detail. The estimate mark is mostly visible. It's got a little bit of a copper spot in the obverse. You can see the detail on most of the wheat stocks. I would say this is probably a net fine. So maybe $17 to $20 coin right there. Definitely something I would not expect in a typical unsearched lot, but you never know. And if you got one, maybe it would be like a little bit worse than this. Maybe good, very good, at the best. This is the kind of coin people definitely would have hunted out. So I think in my $250 splurge here, this might have been one of the coins I was thrown in to give me something cool. So there you go, 1910S, definitely a cool coin there. All right, it's 52. $1941. Our friend, 1944 returns for an encore. There's a 42. Yeah, but anyway, there's World War II coins. You got the silver war nickels. You've got the beautiful Walking Liberty $50. 44. Of course, you have the aforementioned zinc cent, and then you have our steel cent, and then you have these World War II issues, especially the 44 with the brass casings, and the quarters, silver quarters. So it'd be a cool set. And there's 44 again. $46. Another 44. Of course, you want to learn more about any of these coins, or any coins, definitely check out our series of coin profiles that we've been publishing on CoinWeek. Our coin profiles are what we're trying to do with these articles is to go more in depth than what you're used to reading. Like if you buy a book, the book might say, you know, some very basic information about each date, unless you're getting a specialist literature. But what we try to do is we try to give you a feel for the time and the place, not just, you know, in 1945, the Glenn Miller Orchestra released this song and people were buying tube socks. I mean, we're not really trying to do that. What we're trying to do is like let you know what the mint was thinking, doing, why the coins were struck in the quantities they were struck, like what was going on from a monetary standpoint. Recently, we published one on a 1933 Double Eagle. It's about 18 pages long. Here's an 1888. Not really corroded cent there. 18 pages long, and I broke down every coin that was confiscated by the Secret Service. I can barely read this. I don't know if this was dipped in acid or something to bring that date out. This looks like an 1882 or something like that. I think we call that a fugly coin in the parlance of our times. This is definitely plated. There's a plated zinc cent. A lot of these coins are processed. Like I said, the zinc cent should not look like a toy. There's almost like no luster whatsoever. It's just as if it's coated. Yuck. And another one. Yeah, at this point, I would not buy a non-certified. Ugh, gross. You know those like gold-plated state quarters? They look like this, except this isn't gold. It's like that silvery color. I would buy certified. The 43s, I'd only buy certified at this point. 52D. So there. But then you're saying to Charles, how? If I was going to put an album together, what would I do with the certified coin? Well, you crack it out. That's what you do. I'll do that when I'm putting my dance album together. Higher end coins, you know, snowflake coins, I always leave in the holders. But if I'm putting in a coin in an album, I buy an album quality coin, and then I'm assured that it's authentic, and I'm sure that it's in the grade presented. That's how I go about it. We also are covering, here's the 26th, we're also covering in our coin profiles more common coins too. You know, I think numismatic scholarship is not owed just to the rarities, folks. It's owed to everything. Everything anybody would collect has a story. There's a 1901. Again, this is pretty beat up. Ah, there we go. I always like seeing these zincs, these wheat cents with some red on it. Here's a 58D. Bask in what's left of its redness. Imagine like every one of these being beautiful, brown, bronze, coppery color, and that's how you spent them. Oh, to dream. It's even cooler to see that color on a Larson or Colonial. 55D. That was a 44, so we're okay. Let's see. Here's a 42. There. We're halfway through, folks. 1899. Okay. 1944. 1945. Hey. All right, now this one would have stood out to me like a sore thumb. All right, so let's look at this two coins side by side. I'm gonna grab one. All right, here we go. Two coins side by side. Okay. The one on the right is your standard, typical Indian cent that you're going to find in any junk box. This is 1904. And you can see you can make it out. Let's see. That is a thinner coin. Okay, the one on the right is the rarity. Or rarity. Well, yeah, I would say it's for a Indian cent circulation fine. This one on the right, or on the left, I mean, right here, is an 1866. They made 9.8 million of them that year about. It's thicker. It's of a different type. This is more the nickel type. And this is about $50 to $100 coin, depending on the grade. And Liberty's mostly wiped off of it. It's hard to say. I think I would describe this probably as a very good, perhaps fine, pushing fine, very good pushing fine. So you're looking at maybe a $7,500 coin right there. So I'm starting to feel better about all those 44s and those plated 43s. But that's definitely a cool coin. And it would have stuck out like a sore thumb, which is also why you probably wouldn't see too many of these in your run-of-the-mill bags, because they don't look like they're not this like the Lincoln cents or Indian head cents of the later issues, because it is thicker. I mean, their intent was to have like a nickel-based coin, and they just kept making them cheaper and went to the bronze composition, and then started using the nickel composition on the nickel 5-cent coin. So yeah, that's definitely a cool coin. I might keep that coin. Let's see. So we're moving on here. 53D. Oh, here you go. This is an honestly circulated 43. And you can see they're getting dingy, dark, ugly. But I think it's beautiful to have an original 43 even if it's circulated, as opposed to those plated coins. Right, here's a 1904. And 1893. Considering that these Indian cents are probably $2-3 a piece. And I got that 62 out of here, or 66, I mean. And probably not doing too bad. Maybe still a little upside down. I don't know. This bag, 1905. Has been fun sharing it with you guys. 1903. I'm pretty sure when we do this, the second video here of those nickels, that's going to be even more fun, because I've got a lot of these Buffalo dates going to be hard to make out without a loop. There's a 42. There. And the 43. And 44. By now I can pretty much train my eyes on those 44s. Don't know what that is. Don't care. Let's see. Another one. Right. Looks like a 41D to me. Now if I tilt them this right, I can make out the date. There we go. 56D. This has that honest color change. It had some red in the protected areas. Now it's turning sort of a fuchsia kind of color as this coin turns brown. Ooh, what's this guy? Is that D or an S? Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. This is another nice coin. This is maybe our second nicest coin in this lot. This is 1912 S. 1912 S. So 3rd year of issue. San Francisco issue. This is about 4 million mintage. And these are certainly scarce. These are the kinds of coins you probably only find 2x2 flips. This was in the goodish range, so probably about $20. But if you're filling a hole, this is definitely a coin you're going to have to seek out. Those early San Francisco issues were low mintage, and they were hoarded. Let's see. Everybody wanted those 1909 SVDBs, and so when these coins went out of circulation, they were looking for any early pre-30S men. They're just keeping them. So there's a 28. It's a 28D. Yeah. So now we're getting into the end of the boom, into the beginning of the Great Depression. Okay, there we go. Our friend 44 returns again. You get the sense that there were a lot of 44 coins. Let's see, here's a 51. Yeah, 51S. I thought so. Didn't make it out. That net mark's kind of beat up a little bit. We're in a 45. I seem to remember though, like when I was putting these types of things together a long time ago, like maybe I used to go to the bank and grab a bunch of rolls of cents, like hundreds of dollars at a time, and I was trying to create my own stash of wheat cents. But I would get, of course, a lot of 44s. 1919s for some reason like would still hang around. And there was a lot of those, but they were always like good AG. It was a 48S. But I found that you did get a fairly decent mix of dates, at least in Arizona when I was living there. And you know, you get a lot of D mints and you get some S mints. Yeah, 1908. Still pulling out some Indian cents. It was very cool. 1905. I'd love to actually probably have a little chunk box of Indian cents just lying around I could play with time to time. 1906. You know, nothing like, you know, expensive, just to see those old coins. Whoa. What is this? Interesting. Interesting. All right. So, remember I was telling you about the... Oh, you know what? You know what? I think I made a mistake. Let me check something here. I think I made a real mistake. Hold on. So I have an 1866 here. Let me look that one up. I don't know all this stuff off the top of my head, so sometimes like I kind of get confused. So yeah. All right. So I was kind of wrong. I think the 1866, which I just pulled here, has a mintage of about 9 million coins, and that's actually a really nice coin. The 1862, the copper nickel one that we showed earlier, the thicker one, that one had a mintage around 28 million, and it's still a nice coin. I think it's probably a $20 or $30 coin, in the condition that I showed you. I think this 1866, this is the one that's definitely more expensive, and this is probably about $70 or $80 coin. Wow. Yeah, I do still like getting that bronze nickel one, but this is the coin that's probably more valuable. Now the grade in this one's lower. You still see some of the Indian headdress feathers and some of the details, the veins and the feathers there. I would say this is probably good to very good. So there you go. So I apologize. I kind of screwed this up. So the 62, probably about $25 coin. This is probably about $70 or $80 coin. Okay, so misremembered. But definitely cool. And again, you can see the difference, like, you know, the nickel being removed for the copper and the lower relief and the darker color. But yeah, I mean, short of getting an 1877, which you probably never would find, it's definitely cool to get that early date there. So here's 2 coins. I think I'll probably put these in safe flips and just hold on to them because they definitely shouldn't be in this lot. All right. Here's 1905. And of course, I referred my red book because I need it for that moment. Yeah, 1945. It's 41. Like we struck before the attack on Pearl Harbor. The war clouds were forming. It's 44. 52D. A little bit corroded example there. What else? Here's a 1902. That's a nicer one. honestly. A couple letters Liberty can still make out. Let's see, 1908. 1907. Look at that great wreath. Compare how nice that is to the shield reverse that we have now. Night and day. Even this reverse, so much nicer. And this at 58D and about AU. Turning colors. Here's the 1905. 1902. Ah, another Canadian coin. Here we go. This is 64. I grew up in Virginia. We still got Canadian coins in Virginia, so there's a lot, probably because we're close to DC. Maybe a lot of that, or people going to Niagara Falls on vacation. 44. My camera wants to shut off. Okay. 1907. About 2/3 of the way through, folks. There's a 45. Oh, is it Canadian cent? I can't make it out. Oh, wow. No, this is not Canadian cents. My friends. I have never gotten one of these in change. This is a 1973 half penny. Man, that is a tiny, diminutive thing. A half penny. Look at that reverse. That's crazy. Even less valuable than a penny. There you go. There's an 1883. This one's fairly beat up. Indian cent there. 1944 again. We're getting her done on this bag, a Ziploc bag of coins, but we get a lot of 23s. 1899. And 1906. And, 1893. Here's the 1900. Pretty beat up. Pretty beat up. 1890. 1906. It's like the color of the Indian cents too. I always felt like in the boxes they had like a really neat, darker kind of color. What is 1889 here? All right, so here's another honestly circulated 43. Looks like a 1901. I like the color of that one though. Another honestly worn steel set. And for comparison's sake, a plated one. So you tell me, which one do you like? You're going to have a circulated ribbon folder with coins. Would you like the plated one that looks like a trinket? Or one honestly circulated one that's, even though it's turning black. I go with this one. 1944. Otherwise, might as well just take a pencil eraser and just go to town on all your circulated coins and turn them into Mardi Gras trinkets. 41D. 50 AD. And I spoke too soon. There's your Mardi Gras trinket. Oh, this poor thing. 1906 Indian cent beat to an inch of its life. Somebody has taken an eraser to it and just, or Barasso, or, oh my God, you can barely make out anything anymore. That's this is a war crime, folks. A war crime against coins. Ugh, my God. Oh my Lord, what is going on with this one? This isn't a Roman bronze. This is Indian cent, if you can believe it. Definitely not the kind of Indian cent they'd put on the roll of the end of a roll of a shotgun roll to tell you Indian cent on one side, 1909 on the other. What's inside? they would do that to you. All right, let's see. Here's a 52 plain. A 1905. An 1899. Getting to the end, we could probably have about one roll left. 44D. That was an 88. 1988. And 1885. It's kind of beat up. I don't want that on my album. 53D. 1896. This one's kind of beat up. So if you're going to put together a circulated collection, how would I recommend you do it? Like if you're trying to keep it as close to legit circulation find on the Lincoln cent side, and should you do it? And I think the first answer is yes, you should do it. It's fun. I would say for the 50s, you're going to look for extra fine at a minimum to AU. And if you get some with a little bit of red, that's okay, but you don't really need to focus on that. Like nice dark chocolate color coins are fine. I think each decade you go back, drop the coins a grade band. So if we're going XFAU for the 50s, then just go solid XF for the 40s. It's kind of a beat up 1896 there. And then you're fine going to very fine for the 30s. Okay. And then from the 30s to the 20s, you can go very fine to fine, because this is like how I would expect them to appear in circulation. And I would probably cap it in the teens and 09 at fine, at the lowest. You know, if you're just going for circulation fine type of coins, 57D. And obviously, you know, folks, let's be honest about this. So we're 100% up front. You're not going to find 1914Ds, 1922 planes, 1931 S's in these bags. So you're going to buy those coins. But if all the coins around them make sense, you know, from a grade perspective, 50D, then it'll allow you to buy a fine 1909 SVDB. Allow you to buy a fine 1914D without feeling like, you know, it's out of place. The set will look like a truly pulled from circulation set of coins. And if that's what you're going for, that's what my advice would be. The 31S is going to be a weird one because that coin was so heavily hoarded that it's going to be hard to find a coin below XF. Oh, here's a cool coin. It's not the D, but that's a 1914S. About 4 million coins, I think, 4.1 maybe that year.
So this is about $20 to $40 coin in low circulated grades. This one's I put this one in the good category. So we're talking about $20. And here is exactly what I'm talking about. If you had this coin in your album, you know, it would make sense next to a 14D. And if that whole decade was in this grade at the low end, you'd have a nice collection. It would look like it was pulled from circulation, like you were a paper boy in the 1950s. Just getting into coins at the coin bin. 44. And I think that's the beauty of putting together these coins and albums in circulated grades. It's not for the investment, it's for the nostalgia. And so many people got into coins in that period. The greatest generation of coin dealers this industry has ever known were probably running paper routes in the 1950s. You know, people like David Hall and John Danruther and Q. David Bowers and people who are just really, well, Q. David Bowers was probably a coin dealer by the 1950s. Here's out of the game. But a whole generation of people getting into coins are getting into coins because the memorial cent debuted and knocked the wheat cent out of circulation. Because coins went from silver to clad, and you could still, for a time, get decent, obsolete coin designs and change. There you go, another circulated 43. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about some of these Indian cents. 1906. Now, what do you do with the Indian cents? What grades to look for? Indian cents are trickier for me because on the junk box side, you're not going to get anything really above fine. You know, these coins would have been pulled out probably in the 20s or 30s to have any details beyond that. 1944. And so for me, what I would suggest is to not really go into that series with the expectation of completing it that way. I think if you're just going to go for circulation pulls, you're probably looking at the 1880s to the end. And it's such an attractive design, it'd be a shame really to go below like fine or very fine. You know, you want to see the design. Longacre gets a lot of grief because, you know, when he got hired by the Mint, he wasn't really that good of a coin engraver. In fact, he really didn't have a background in die sinking. He had to learn that process. And it wasn't until 1849 when it really push came to shove. He had to design the gold dollar and the $20 gold coin. The coins at the time that were in circulation, it was 1917, this was probably about an AG, were largely done by Christian Gobrecht, a very talented engraver. He was responsible for the Sea of Liberty series and others. So Longacre really had to come into his own. He went with allegorical motifs, you know, he did the 2 cent, 3 cent, or 2 cent piece and the 3 cent piece, and he did the shield nickel. And I think his crowning achievement, in my opinion, was the Indian headdress on the Liberty on the cent. Can't make out the date. That's 1893. World's Columbian Expo is happening when this coin came out. So I would like to see, in my own personal aesthetic, is to have Mint State or AU examples of Indian cents. When I put my Dansko album together, I bought a Mint State, like 62, 63 for it. And so at that point, you're talking some serious investment beyond just the circulation pool. I mean, you may be looking at $50 to $100 per coin, depending on the grade. If you're in the low level of Mint State, and higher, of course, if you're going full red and you know, investor quality coins. But to me, even if I was making a short set and it was just for an album, I would want to see the details. And I'm probably more of a particular about the Indian cents than the wheat cents. 41S. And that's because, like with the wheat cents, you have like over 100 years of coins, and for the, or not 100 years, you have 50 years of coins, and you have so many dates, so many mint marks, and it's like a much bigger investment to try to do that in a higher grade. And with the Indian cents, really, you're only talking about 10 or 15 years that are like not rarity level coins, and only mint marks at the end, 09 and 08. All right, we got about 15 coins left, folks. 56D. Just holding out hope maybe we get, I don't know, one or two more nice ones. I don't know. 44D, I think. 44. That's another 44, isn't it? Yeah. 56D. Of course, it's got a net mark in 56. It's going to be a D. San Francisco net was closed. 54. 55. All right, the 37S. Another 44. 1905, Indian cent. Oh, nice color on that one. There's 44. And 1901. Yeah, this one looks like it probably clean at some point. It's retoned. It's 58. You know, when the Memorial Cent came out, it was released without any fanfare or advance notice. It just sort of happened. Oh, can't make this one out. Yeah, 1918. Looked like a 1911, but 1918. That last digit is so weak. Another 44. 44D. This might be the last of my Indian cents. 1902. It's got some verdigris. 52D. All Wheaties from here, folks. Cannot wait to wash my hands for this. Handling all Scott or old copper. 44. 44. I probably have a roll of 44s. I think they sent me a roll of 44s and a couple ringers here. And then 42. 57. Surprise! No 1919s. What is that? What is that? Another 44. 46. And the last handful here. Of course, 44, but D. And 46D. And 42. 41. 4 left. 53D. 44. 44D. And close it out. 57 plain. Well, folks, that's about what you get for $250, I guess. It's not really fair to call that $250 because I do have the nickels coming up. There are going to be fewer nickels than there were a piece of metal or something. Going to be fewer nickels, I think, than cents. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to get a big batch of coins, sight unseen, you're going to probably be assured that somebody's picked through them. I do appreciate the fact that they threw me a couple of lollipops in there, so that at least I feel like I got my money's worth. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this just recalls back to when I was a kid going through local coin shops, going through their junk trays. A lot of the later date Indian cents would have been maybe in a box, but anything probably before 1930 would have been in the 2x2. So you'd have to buy those individually, and I just remember paying 20 cents, 50 cents, $1, $2, $3 for some of those earlier date Lincoln cents, and of course, buying the Indian head cents was always a real thrill. As a kid, I think I was paying 75 cents each, and I don't think you can get them for maybe under $4 or $5 a piece now. So they've appreciated in value a little bit since I was a youngster, and it's always nice. I think Indian cents are the ones that really just always appeal to me from the visual perspective. The relief, the sort of the effigy of liberty with the headdress. It was really interesting. Certainly a product of a different time, and I think in today's day and age, representation of Native Americans on coins would certainly be handled differently. As you can see with the Sacagawea dollar, they're not sort of anglicizing Native American imagery on coins anymore. Probably not appropriate to do so. I did like getting the 1862 and 1866. I've never seen those two dates in junk boxes. Those would have been coins you'd have to buy individually. And in fact, as a child, I probably had my red book, and it would say, the 1862 would have been like a $5 or $8 coin back then, and that would have been probably beyond my means, to be honest, as I was collecting coins in elementary school. And of course, I never would have seen an 1866 outside of a coin show or a coin club meeting or something like that. So it's definitely cool. It's the first time I've ever actually owned those two coins, and I'm very excited about that. And as far as the nickel video, I'll try to come back. Let's make a date on Sunday. I'll try to come back Sunday night and do that. It shouldn't take the hour and 10 minutes that this video did. Probably be wrapped up in 30-35 minutes. There are fewer coins. But I have a little bit to say about pulling Buffalo nickels and Liberty nickels out of junk boxes, and the dates are probably likely defined. Obviously, you're not going to get the 1886 in a junk box. And by the time those coins would have been pulled from circulation, the grades are going to be different. Of course, with Buffalo nickels, a lot of dates were completely rubbed off, so you see a lot of acid dip coins. Be excited to see if I see any of those. So anyway, I hope you had a good week. Have a good weekend ahead of you, and enjoy your coins, man. For CoinWeek, I'm Editor Charles Morgan. See you next time.